My name is Omkar and thank you for joining me on Diksha. In today's society, on a global scale as well as on a local scale, crime is a major topic. A lot of strategies and a lot of resources go into how to solve crime, how to prevent crime, and understanding the nature of crime. Crime in today's society, globally as well as locally, is a major issue. People are seeking to understand it, to prevent it, and to develop ways on which we can help those already involved in it. But what is crime and where does crime come from? What is the nature of crime? And how do we take ourselves out of a world where crime exists? So today's program, we'll take a look at those and we'll see where we arrive at. So where does crime originate? Who are the perpetrators of crime? Who is most prone to engaging in crime? But first, let us define crime. Crime is an activity that goes against the nature or the logos by which society operates. It is universal. By universal, I mean the model for preventing or the model for understanding crime transcends geography and transcends culture. The base or the brawn from which crime originates is universal. And so by understanding this, we can look at possible solutions or possible preventative measures. So let us look at where crime originates. Now, throughout our history, what we consider to be crime changes. Even in our modern world, as you go from country to country, what we consider a crime changes. So we would not be talking about things that vary by location. For example, the use of certain drugs are considered crimes in particular countries and considered normal acts in others. What I am talking about is the activities that go against the normal or the sustained function of a society in a positive direction. We are going to look at where that behavior originates, and we are going to look at how it transpires or how it percolates throughout a social structure. And for that, we will refer to our pyramid. Because the pyramid or the caste system established in an earlier episode is the model for society. So, on our pyramid, we have the Brahmins, or the people in charge of maintaining the whole. We have people in charge of protecting the whole. We have business people. And we have skilled. And skill does not limit itself to one particular occupation or arena. Skilled is any occupation or any position in society which must be learnt and practiced and perfected. Now, in society we have the whole or the logos, or in Hinduism, Sanatan Dharma, which is that which is right. And by right, I do not mean circumstantially right. I mean that which is right in order for society to progress in a positive direction. You have the protectors who protect this concept of right. Business people and skilled people follow the rule or the guidance of those who have determined what is right. And the majority of the population who do not consider what is right or wrong on a daily basis in their activities. In other words, those members of society, which is from the business, this section, do not concern themselves with what is right or what is wrong. Only these two will occupy their thoughts and their actions with preserving this. And when this is determined, these sections of society will follow suit, because it doesn't matter to them either way. They just follow the example in a social structure. So, where does crime originate? Crime originates when what is right becomes a little murky or when what is right becomes clouded or corrupted, it trickles down into the decision-making process of the business, the skilled, and the majority of the population. So I would say crime originates when the aspect or the idea of the whole changes. Because, for example, if we take one issue of if we were to say violence, and in order to maintain the whole, violence is considered necessary because of war, then the protective aspect of the society, based on this theory that violence is necessary, will begin acting on violence. These sectors, seeing that violence is in demand, naturally being tradesmen, will trade to support that. The skilled in the society will begin supporting the trades, the businessmen, in supplying what the society deems fit, which is violence. And the mass follows suit. And so violence percolates throughout the society. So it does not begin at the base of the pyramid, it begins at the top. And that was my presentation on crime. I presented to you an idea on where it originates, and from this we can pull possible solutions, analyze those solutions, and better understand the nature of crime. Now, one thing to note is I am not saying that any particular person or any group of people is responsible for the crime. What I'm saying is that society functions in a certain nature. There's a certain way that the whole functions. And the way that the whole functions is that the people at the minority in society tend to set the pace because they are looking at society as a whole. And the people in everyday life situations tend to think of society as fragmented only to the individual or only to their family structure. So the individual or the family structure, although they may do an activity, they do not consider the activity on the level of the whole. But when we magnify the nature or where this comes from, it tends to come from a set example, and that set example comes from the ones in charge of the whole. So, I hope this proved useful. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.